we're here. I don't even know what episode this is, but we're here.
Two.
As well, Ben. What?
Three. This is episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Question mark?
Kayfabe Culture. Yeah, so we're there. This last week was Wrestlemania weekend.
The unofficial anniversary episode.
It is, because we're probably at about a year-ish somewhere. I don't care.
Oh, did we start after WrestleMania last year? Oh, shit, you're right.
Yes, we did.
Ah, that was we did, huh?
Yeah, so this is literally season 2, episode 1.
And are we on about episode 12?
There you go.
Somewhere around there? 13? I don't know, something like that. But
Sure.
Yeah, there was some lost months.
Yeah, but we made up for it. We had those 2 in 1 week that 1 week.
There you go.
So we were there. Well,
yeah. So on that note, it's 365 days of Becky Lynch as the Raw Women's Champion, and a year since that WrestleMania that you speak of.
Yeah, you're right. It was. I just saw it today that it was she's been champion for exactly a year.
A fighting champion. There you go.
A fighting champion. Yeah. With the well, anyway, we'll get to that. I still don't want to do a match by match thing necessarily.
No.
But let's go into night 1.
First 2 matches suck. I didn't like them. There, I'll say it.
I like the women's tag match.
So I thought the women's tag match was pretty good. Hey, so answer me this. I've been waiting to ask this question with somebody, guys that I knew had seen it and were gonna say something about it. So I'm especially interested in Big Steak. If this was pre-recorded, why at the end when Nikki does almost like a code breaker or something, and then Miss Alexa Bliss, wait, let's for Alexa? No, it didn't go on. And then Alexa does her what does she call it? Her finishing move?
Twisted Bliss.
The Twisted Bliss?
Yeah.
Twisted Bliss.
Did they not redo it because she landed on her legs? Did you notice
I wouldn't
that?
be surprised if
She did.
I
She
wouldn't.
100% landed on her legs. She didn't land on her chest, but Kyrie sold it like she landed on her chest. So she just got hit with the code breaker, is laying flat for the Twisted Bliss. Twisted Bliss comes off. She lands on about her thighs into her knees. That's actually where she landed.
I noticed that.
And she sold it like she hit her in the chest. And I'm like, okay. Or like if you're in a live show, it is what it is. What are you going to do? It's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
You want to go back and fix that? You're like, oh, I screwed that up. Let's do it again.
Take 2.
I know. Seriously. What happened there? Other than that, I thought the match was pretty good. It was entertaining. But I like all the females, all the ladies involved in that match, so I didn't have a problem.
Yeah.
But
So what do you think is
Same.
going to happen with Kabuki Warriors now? You think Kairi Sane's done and the tag team is broken up since they've been pushing Asuka so hard?
yeah, I don't know. I was going to ask that too.
Well, Kyrie's been talking about a long time. She wants to go back to Japan.
I've heard that. Her and Io, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
the contract is going to be running out pretty soon, actually, what I heard.
I mean, that could be all talk, and she could just flip and go to AEW and join the Japanese women that are going on over there doing some, big stuff. But, I mean, yeah, I don't see Kyrie being there much longer.
No, not the way they've been pushing her or not pushing her, and really pushing her with Asuka with her Asuka dance and all that other stuff, which is funny, by the way.
I think that women's division will be better. Will be a little better if they had a mid card title.
Yes, maybe something else to kind of fight for. Although, I mean, I know we're gonna jump around a little bit. We'll talk about Charlotte Flair in a few minutes. Was Bianca Belair the next night too? Yeah, that was on Sunday night, huh?
Yeah, she made her debut. Actually, she made her debut on Raw last night, actually.
And so did Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah.
She was on Raw too.
And-
So they're full time now?
I don't know.
Bianca is. Deonna Purrazzo is not necessarily, because they had Orkin and Birch on there too.
Oh yeah, they did.
So it's just kind of filling in people who are willing to go to the Performance Center and compete.
Was it me or did
Fair
it seem
enough.
like this week on? I know we'll get to Raw in a little bit. Did it seem like this week on Raw there was way more people involved in different matches and segments on Raw than there has been in quite a while?
Not necessarily, because that whole Street Profits Theory and Garza thing was the first hour.
Dude, it was like 3 matches of the same thing. First, it was the Street Profits and Angel Garza and the other dude, and then they had Bianca Belair and Selena Vega. And then they had it was a 3-way tandem. It was
The mixed tag.
Yeah, it just looked like the matches took forever, man. It was like all the
It was a full.
match.
It really was.
Man.
I was going through it because I had a DVR, and it was the first full hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it after we're done here.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't impressed, honestly. I just wasn't impressed as well. I didn't see anything. Normally it's like, oh man, let's see what happens. And we got Nia Jax, and we got Bianca Belair, which I guess is a big deal for Bianca Belair. But
What about Aleister Black? Aleister Black, dude, and
Bobby Lashley?
No, the Apollo Crews match was better.
Oh yeah,
dude,
was
it
it?
took forever too. That match took forever too.
It took forever, but it was a good match.
Yeah.
Definitely better.
So
It was definitely an interesting weekend.
let's go back to night one, real quick.
Hey, I would like to congratulate the champion and still Intercontinental Champion Fidel Castro.
White Fidel
Don't know
Castro.
don't know whether it's Fidel Castro versus Captain Planet. Yeah.
That was freaking funny, dude. And he hit me up at Anthony. I was talking to Anthony during the week, and he's like, "Why does he look like Fidel Castro?" And I'm like, "Kind of does." What about the? What did you think about the Becky Lynch match? Because you definitely didn't get what you thought was going to happen at all.
I like the pin at the very end. Just
It was
she thought
it
she
was
gonna
it was
choke
like
out.
it was kind of like the similar finish how Von Erich pinned Flair back in the day. You know.
I heard.
You know what it was?
Go ahead.
The big deal last year was Ronda Rousey was coming in as this beast and everything like that, and nobody could touch her because of her MMA background, but Becky Lynch beat her with a wrestling move. It was the exact same thing with Shayna Baszler.
I thought the same thing.
Coming in,
actually.
she's the
It was
cage
almost
fighter,
the same
she's the
exact move.
MMA competitor. It was, I beat you with a wrestling move.
Almost the same exact move. Huh?
Shoulders down, dude.
Well, I heard
Shoulders
this in
were right to the
NXT
mat.
as well. I heard this was also done in NXT before against Shayna Baszler, but with somebody else. Mike, one of my buddies, one of the other Mikes that's been on here before, was telling me that.
Kairi Sane? Because
Like
that's the only one.
I don't know.
Didn't she fight Ember Moon?
Yeah, but Ember Moon didn't beat her for the title. The only one that's beat Shayna for the
Anyways,
title was Kairi Sane.
I guess
Didn't
she
have to
did
be
it
for
with
the
that move.
title.
No,
That's
true, I
the
guess.
exact move. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, too.
I like that. That was pretty cool. That caught me off guard. So I was like, is this how she's going to go down? And all of a sudden she flips it over. And I'm like, slide boots.
Yeah. Well, no, it is.
You know what I was.
Go ahead, Rick.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking of that. Remember when they had that Tough Enough competition back in the day when it was Kurt Angle and Daniel Puder? Remember that guy?
The shoot fighter? Yeah.
Daniel Puder. Yeah, the shoot fighter is supposedly like, I guess Daniel Puder had him he had him like in a headlock, and then I guess Kurt Angle was able to pin him shoulders to the mat. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And I guess Angle got humiliated or something like that because he used that MMA move on him, some bullshit like that.
Yeah, it wasn't the wrestling sense. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, many years ago.
But that's a good way to you say face that way, because it was like, okay,
Yeah.
Shayna controlled most of the match, was beaten on her, and then you pull out the wrestling win, so you don't take the title off of Becky Lynch yet, but you don't really lose anything crazy because it was like, okay, all of a sudden out of nowhere, this unexpected move pins her. So you still kind of say face. No one lost face there, and it allows the feud to continue. So like they're definitely going to face each other, at some point again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really like, nah, let's let her get to a year with the title and figure out, how we kind of want to handle this, because it's got to be a little bit of a build up. Can't go in and create monsters.
Do you think there's any chance that Becky Lynch, like they could play some kind of weird like MMA angle because of Shayna Baszler? I'm sorry, what's
Baszler.
That chick? Yeah, okay, so it is Baszler.
Yeah.
Do you think they could pull an angle like that? Because the reason why I say that is because she actually's done training at SBG, which is where Conor McGregor trains. I don't know. Do you think that's a possibility?
Who's Shayna?
No, Becky Lynch.
Oh, Becky Lynch.
Like, if you're building up something, would it be fair to say that there is an opportunity to actually play that angle? Because it's known that she's trained to MMA as an MMA fighter.
Remember,
Are they going to rehash Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe in the cage fight from Lockdown?
Remember, I'm like, if you remember, before Becky Lynch was engaged to Seth Rollins, she was actually going out with an MMA fighter.
Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, that dude.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
It would.
I
You
think
know what? I'll be
okay.
honest. Stranger things have happened in WWE. I'm like, I remember many years ago when a big John Tedler Earthquake when he challenged Yokozuna to a sumo match.
We
And
saw
the
him the
funny
other
thing
day.
about it, and the funny thing is that Earthquake, he originally had a career as a sumo wrestler in Japan.
Oh no crap, really?
Yeah, so stranger things have happened, bro. I'm like, it's
Well,
happened in
then,
WWE.
well, then of course there was the Piper boxing match from WrestleMania 1. So
There you go. And he's
Mhm.
he's a trained boxer too. Yeah, at the time.
yeah, we also have to remember that there's the going to be the Money in the Bank coming up, so that could obviously affect a lot of things of how things might play out.
That's right.
Right.
I don't see it as a stretch because every time you see, even if you just watch UFC, if you got two fighters who don't have the same style, then one of them is going to pick up the other ones to try to find some counters to that style. So that's not in their effort to make it appear more real. Then yeah, I could see how they would say, okay, the thing is, her game is like she's an MMA fighter. Okay, Becky's got to start training MMA to know how to counter some of those moves. So it's not. Yeah, I don't think it's anything that's crazy to think of.
It depends on what island they're on.
Yeah.
Wow, I barely heard about that today, so like I get the joke. You know what? Okay, so let's talk about the Velcro because Rick had pointed out that to me too. So okay, first of all, hold on. So you know what happened there, right? Like they never said what happened to Miz actually, but this is he went in and he was sick, so he got sent home. So all of a sudden it became, one person from each tag team in the ladder match. I actually thought the ladder match was pretty good.
Is that a first?
Yeah, I think so. I can't think of anybody else
for a singles tag team match.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to say
Much less a ladder one.
I want to say it probably wasn't the first.
I think it's the first in WWE.
Is it? Because I
can't think of one.
I remember British Bulldog facing one of the guys from the Hart Foundation back in the 80s when Dynamite Kid was injured.
I think it could maybe not the first match where it's just like one person defends the tag team titles, but definitely as a ladder match. Like that hasn't been seen before. And I don't know, man, like okay, so I brought up the Velcro, but in reality, like I enjoyed that match and I really I liked the finish. And I may be
I did too.
By myself.
The whole
did.
match was awesome.
Believe me, I did too.
I really, really liked the finish. I mean, I was sitting here watching it, and my wife was in here, and I was like, oh my god, I just totally popped for that finish. I thought it was like, okay. So normally, they get the two guys are fighting over it. Okay, here comes the third one. All three of them are fighting over it, and then as soon as you see him pull down the look, there's John Tenta. As soon as you see him pull down basically the hanger, I guess, for lack of a better term, that hanger and the belts are still on it, and I'm like, that's a first. How many times have you ever seen anybody pull that entire thing off, even if it's just two guys? What the heck's going to happen here? They start fighting over it, and I see, all of a sudden a headbutt or whatever it was to John Morrison, and he falls, and I'm like, oh crap, he took him with him. He takes the bump off the ladder, lands on the mat, and it's just like, oh my god, dude, I popped for it. I thought it was brilliant. But I did notice the Velcro. But both...
Okay, what...
I don't know, Rick.
The
Talk about
Velcro.
that for a second. You had said something, and then Anthony did too.
Yeah,
I
I had noted they brought the carbiner down, and they're fighting for it, and I heard the Velcro. When John Morrison took the hit or whatever, I heard the Velcro actually pop, and I looked at my wife and I go, well, that's a first.
So the belts had Velcro on them.
Him falling and winning. Yeah, they don't have the belt snaps anymore. Even Drew McIntyre, last night, they're all Velcro backs.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But why? Is that just for right now, or is that
They bounce back and forth. Sometimes they have the look on them, like they have the buckles, but I think it's just for speed to take it off, for them to rip it off and like hold it up. It looks in the front like it's the original belt, but it's not. It has the Velcro backing.
I 100% believe that for the tag match because of the way it was supposed to happen.
From what I heard in the gorilla position, they got like I think two sets of belts in the gorilla position. One has with the snaps and the other one with the Velcro.
So if they're just coming out for a spot, they're gonna bring the one with the snaps.
I'm guessing so. If it's coming, if they're coming down the ring and they have to rip the belt out, of course you're gonna use the real Velcro one.
Right, but somebody like Becky, who just carries the belt on her shoulder, or other people that do it on the shoulder, then they can use the snaps.
Yeah, they don't need that. They don't need the
Velcro. Because the match I pointed out to Dan was Bailey.
Yeah.
Sasha took the belt and just kind of slapped it on her real fast, and I noticed immediately that it was Velcro on Bailey's belt also.
Oh, wow.
And there was a segment on Raw last night, again, where Drew McIntyre pulled the belt off and you could hear the Velcro snap.
That's
And
hilarious.
it's something you don't catch because of the crowd.
Yeah,
But
totally.
without those crowds in there, what is that dead silence, you hear the pull of the Velcro.
Oh, let's not even get started on the things you can hear now without a crowd.
I was going to ask
drowning
about
them
that.
Oh, God.
so many noises and grunts and sexual.
I did like the Asuka match in that fact.
Yeah, dude, it sounded like a damn portal. Was that Charlotte and Ripley? I think it was Charlotte and Ripley that sounded like a damn portal.
That one did.
I don't know what's worse, that or see two female tennis players going at it.
Okay, so I have this. I had to watch this on my iPad in a house with other people that don't really watch wrestling, so I was trying to be quiet. And then I would take it out to the garage where I was actually cooking for them. Barbecuing was great, but I was watching everything on iPad, so I really didn't hear. I missed most of all of that. Looked enjoyable though.
It looked enjoyable. Other than that, man, the best part of night one, hands down, of course, was the Boneyard match.
You guys think about what was Edge? Randy Orton was day 2, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was day 2.
Dude, I'm a fan of cinematic matches, though. I loved the Matt Hardy stuff. So funny and so cheesy. Going into that, I'm like, I wish they had kept Matt Hardy around for like a producer for an agent piece for that, or a consultant, but they did a job on it. Much fun.
You heard the details about that match, right?
No.
The Boneyard, it was like an 8-hour match, and part of it was kind of ad-libbed.
It took 8 hours to film it.
Yeah.
Jeremy Borash, who directed who was in TNA with Hardy.
Yeah, so if Borash is there, that makes sense.
Yeah, he did a lot of the Hardy segments.
Yeah.
Pretty much is the same concept, and I think Michael Hayes and Triple H put their feedback in there too. So it was pretty much the successful match of the night. You know, it kind of did it. I heard that Undertaker actually enjoyed the match with AJ Styles. I think after he was kind of doubting himself after that crown jewel against Goldberg, that match that was so terrible.
Didn't you? I mean, seriously.
And I heard actually
that was horrible.
I heard actually Angle told him, he goes, "What about AJ?" And then
have a match with AJ. Probably be the best match you'll ever have.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Because it really wasn't a match. And I know we're going to talk about the other one later, but that really wasn't a match. It was a fight. So, I mean, do I agree with you that it was good? Yeah, it was super entertaining. Was it a match? No, it was not a match.
I was
so
calling
what doesn't
it
make it a match?
It's not a match in the traditional sense. So you didn't see any wrestling type maneuvers, which we know both guys are totally capable of doing. So, matter of fact, today I was listening to, of course, you saw their ending moves.
I saw choke slam.
2 moves. Speaking of 2 moves, we'll get to that in a minute. We talk about Goldberg and Strowman. We'll talk about 2 moves. But and McIntyre and Lesnar. We'll talk about 2 moves. But you know what I mean. Not in a traditional sense, where you know how AJ can go. That's the point, as you said. And I'm not arguing. Again, I liked it. I thought it was super entertaining. But was it a match even in the sense that maybe Angle was talking about with Taker? Like, oh, it's the best match you'll ever have. Okay, no, it wasn't. Entertaining? Oh, yeah, beyond belief. But it wasn't like anything that AJ can do as far as like actual wrestling.
But you don't want to credit that to the current situation.
Of course. Like, no, it was like there was no other way to. They could have had a hell of a match in the ring. They could have had a hell of a match in the ring. Does that mean I didn't want to see what I saw? No, I thought what I saw was super entertaining. Like,
you know what that looked like to me was a fight scene in a horror movie.
Oh yeah, you did say that.
So
yeah,
100.
If you
did you guys?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, did you guys catch that one part where you could totally see the back of the tombstone and that it was fake, Dan.
No,
Oh,
I
you mean
that.
where AJ destroyed the tombstone on the back of Undertaker's head?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's shattered into powder. That one.
Yeah.
That was
No,
pretty
I'm
funny.
talking about the big giant one that you can see was totally fake on the back. But
Stole that
yeah, that
from,
too.
I was actually waiting for Undertaker to turn into Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. Seriously.
Hey, let's talk about that new music he's coming out to. Not using he didn't use American Badass.
Metallica.
Yeah.
Metallica.
Yeah. Or what we used to call them in high school, Metallica. Metallica. No, that was good. I mean, to see the Undertaker pop up is kind of an amalgamation, I guess, of the different forms of the Undertaker between the badass and the dead man. Was kind of cool. Although I would have popped big time if when Undertaker was sitting in the thing, AJ had popped up behind him. I would have popped for that. If he'd have popped up behind him and like, no, I'm now dead too, or something. That would have been funny. But
Speaking of Undertaker, did you see that little short trailer documentary called Undertaker: The Last Ride?
no, not yet. So I don't want to. I don't know if I want spoilers for that yet.
No spoilers. No
Yeah,
spoilers.
no, no,
I want to
yeah.
see the
I
trailer.
don't want to watch that.
I just saw the
Did you
first 30
see
minutes of it.
on Wikipedia after that match someone had put AJ Styles' death date the day the match was filmed? and the cause of death was buried alive by Undertaker in a pre-tape match.
So I was messing with the hand thing, but did you hear that the hand was a prop they had found on set?
Yeah.
And they were just like, how can we use this? And then it was Taker that said, why'd you do this? Which I thought was kind of cool. I thought it was a throwback to the Buried Alive match when the Undertaker did that. So I was like, oh, that's a fun little tidbit. So anything else you got? Because I want to talk two moves.
Let's go.
No, hold on.
I was just thinking of that.
No, we got to throw in.
I was just thinking of that. I posted up yesterday, man, of Samoa Joe. Okay, Wendy's now single now.
I saw that. You dirty fool. So, Joe, if you didn't see the picture, Joe's off. Big smile. I was like, Wendy's now single.
Big old smile. I saw that.
Well, we got.
All right, Dan Goldberg and Strowman.
Got two moves, man. That's all you had. You had spears
Claymore.
and you had power slams, and then with Lesnar you had F5 and you had Claymore. Oh, there was like one other kick in there, but that was it. There were essentially two moves. So what do you do
Didn't he
now?
attempt a suplex, but then it got blocked?
Yeah, and to a power slam. That's what it was.
The jackhammer.
He attempted the jackhammer, turned
right?
it into a power slam. Yep.
You know what? Watching that match, I was thinking of the original WrestleMania game on NES. It's just punch, kick, punch, kick.
That's all that was. That's all we got out of it for like 2 minutes. It was only like a 2-minute match. Okay. So what? Okay. So obviously we know why Strowman was in there because of the whole Roman Reigns pre-existing condition, and it's completely understandable given the time. But again, I complain about Strowman I feel like all the time on this podcast. What do you do with him now? You went and you beat the Fiend. Goldberg went and beat the Fiend. First of all, the hottest guy in the company.
It should have never happened. Should have never happened.
You're telling me this shouldn't have never happened, okay? It was supposed to be designed so Reigns could get the title off there, but instead you have to throw Strowman in there, who beats Goldberg
I think it's obvious what happens. You just leave the belt on Strowman until this is all over, and then Reigns comes and beats Strowman. That's what's got to happen.
I guess there was a lot more discussion with that though than they thought about. Originally, they didn't even want Strowman to do it. They didn't know who they were going to put in, but they wanted Goldberg to retain the title.
Well, considering they did
and hold
Strowman
off
dirty
until
2 years ago,
yeah,
he deserves to get the title at least once.
Yeah, but I also heard too that the deal that Goldberg had signed was only up until WrestleMania anyway. So
and he didn't want any more dates.
No, he didn't want any more dates, and he's expensive. He's earning millions for the 3 matches he works. So it's like, okay, what do you do? You book yourself into a corner, and then you book yourself even more into a corner by making it Strowman who can't be beat. It took 3 guys for Sami Zayn to take the Intercontinental title off of him. So it's gonna take 3 more guys to do the same thing. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Hey,
always have a problem with that.
It'll be a gimmick
Fidel
match,
Castro.
and it'll be one of those ones where he can lose, like when who was it? Sin Cara or Kalisto that beat him in the dumpster match,
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
where like he barely stepped into the dumpster, like he backed himself into the dumpster, a one drop kick, and like 1 foot went in and he slid in.
We're gonna get one of those. He pinned himself deals, huh? Like
Yeah, or he
shoulders.
screwed himself.
Yeah, he screwed himself.
Braun screwed Braun is what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Anthony's over there telling me like, hey, if it's Fidel Castro, it's the power of the people, the communists. So you gonna tell me?
Yeah, basically.
I knew where that one was going.
even Strowman can't beat an army.
They're smoking a Cuban Canadian cigar, probably, you know.
Yeah.
Those-
Yeah, them good cigars, baby. I popped over Cuban cigars.
I can't believe he was able to beat Captain Planet. Seriously.
It's because only one Planeteer was there.
So does that mean we're seeing what's his name, Drew Gulak, get a lot more time on TV?
Why?
Because Daniel Bryan likes him. That's why. So he's well known for his accomplishments outside of there, but he got stuck on that crappy 205 Live freaking stuff. So
Yeah, because he's a fantastic wrestler. He was for a long time. He was Championship Wrestling from Hollywood for a long time. He did good there, and actually his old partner Timothy Thatcher's signed too. So
yeah, I can see them making a run after the tag titles. Actually,
but good for them, man.
I don't
some TV time, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mention Elias and King Corbin, but
it's not worth mentioning.
No.
We all know how most of you feel about Corbin, so
it's not worth mentioning Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley, even though I like Aleister Black, you know.
I like the finish. I like the finish in that match. I mean, that was a pretty well timed kick to the head. You could hear that.
That it was. I give you that.
Man, especially Lana getting involved in that match.
Yeah. I did like that part because it's like, get out, bitch, and then all of a sudden it cost him the match. I thought it was funny.
Everybody hates Lana. It's fun to hate Lana.
Yeah, did you hear that on Monday? He goes, maybe I don't know what Lashley said, but he said, maybe I need a new wife or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
He said something like, I need new management or maybe a new wife.
There you go.
Something like that.
There you go.
You like his pants, though? You like his pants?
I like it better than the little shorts.
Was he wearing
better
pants?
with the pants.
Rick doesn't like his short shorts.
The shorts.
The shorts. Hey, we didn't talk about KO. What about Kevin and Seth?
Oh man, that was awesome. I like that match. That was a good match, especially at the very end, jumping off from the top of the sign.
WrestleMania sign.
Dude, that was pretty high. Some New Jack shit.
KO's always entertaining, dude. Kevin Owens is always entertaining.
They've always put on good matches against each other. Vic? Someone in Punks of Wrestling posted was it Steen and Tyler Black at Ring of Honor? Someone posted a video I thought I saw there. That looked like a pretty cool match. I've seen some stuff like just through YouTube. Kevin Steen, coming out and putting on really good matches with him. So I thought it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the match. Even though it was
they
all
got a
over,
good chemistry.
and you could fucking hear everything. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, they got a good indies.
No, they're good. So that was pretty much
good
night
spots.
One. Yeah.
And I just so happen to be wearing my Black and Brave T-shirt from Blackcraft while watching that match. Just want to share that.
You guys didn't see the pre-match match?
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah. Between Natalia and what's her face?
Liv Morgan. Come on, man.
Yeah.
On night 2, yeah.
That was that was fantastic. I thought it was
I
good.
actually loved it.
And I think, come on, give Liv that chance. She was good.
She's gotten
really
a lot
good.
better.
She's gotten a lot better in that match. And I tell you what, the next. Go ahead.
Natalia made Liv Tyler like $1 million. Dude.
No, I mean
Seriously,
I think she did. But the next night against Asuka too, she looked really good again. Like she's getting better, dude.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked before about how Natalia's always there to get somebody over, so
Yeah. That's pretty much
that.
contracted to do, pretty much. As
Yeah.
of right now, in her
Gatekeeper.
point of view. Yeah.
Which
pretty
she
much.
definitely did, but I'm gonna hand it to Liv because I thought both nights, even though she took the loss to Asuka the next day, I thought she was really good. It's very obvious she's getting a lot better, and then that they're trying. It seems like it's kind of slow though. They're slowly trying to push her because even against Shayna Baszler in the Elimination Chamber, she probably put in the most time against Shayna Baszler. So it's like, okay, maybe a slow push to eventually get her up there so they don't shove her down. Because the whole angle with the freaking Lana basically just fell apart. So and do that, and then there really isn't much going on with Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan there because of what's going on, with all this
Well,
stuff.
Sarah Logan is still there. Sarah Logan is still doing her thing, but I haven't heard too much about Ruby Riott.
The angle kind of fell apart too, just because of what's going on. So that's fine, but I think she's right for it, man. If she keeps showing up and wanting to show like I'll do this kind of stuff, a win over Natty's kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? I know what she's there to do, but a win over Natty's still a win over Natty. It's a big deal.
It was a clean win, is the thing.
That too. It was a clean win. So I mean, I really thought it was a good match, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Liv Morgan the way I'm Alexa Bliss. It's just this little thing. It's just as long as she keeps going for it, she's gonna get something out of it eventually. Doesn't complain, kind of find her own character. Like, I think you're gonna be okay. So I think it was pretty good. I was pretty impressed. And I specifically watched the show for that match, the pre-show, and then I turned it off. When I started watching again, like after the actual thing had started. Oh, can we talk about that for a second? So I had talked to Anthony and told Anthony that I asked him the night one if he was watching, and then he's like, "Oh, not yet. I'll start it later." But then, so Stephanie McMahon had come on and said, "Oh, this is what we have for you. This thing, it's traditional to sing America the Beautiful at WrestleMania instead of the Star Spangled Banner." And that, what you think about that video pack? I thought that video pack was just kind of cool.
Yeah, I
all
like
the ones
it.
from like this all past WrestleMania,
All of
kind of
them.
combined.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. And then that 20-minute freaking movie that was the intro crap with the Jack Sparrow wannabe. Like, I was like, this damn thing is freaking long. And you can tell, like, I told Anthony, I was like, man, half these people that are shown in this thing aren't even on the card anymore. Like, people got taken off. And he was like, oh yeah, huh? Why? I was like, you spend millions of dollars, you're going to show it. Because I'm sure it took a lot of money to put together. Yeah, seriously, like it had to be expensive. Look at
I'll
it.
tell you this, man. The good thing about having those that video package with playing America the Beautiful, you didn't have to pay the expensive artist to sing that now.
Yep.
You just went through the compilation of everything.
Yeah,
just the royalties.
Speaking of price, dude. So I talked to Ryan a little while ago. I asked him if he had seen it because we were gonna pod, and then he said, "No, man, I didn't see it because remember I got rid of the network." And he's like, and the pay-per-view was $100. It was $100 freaking dollars, dude. It was $60 for night one and $40 for night two. That's how much this damn thing was.
The audacity.
Freaking wow.
Okay, so speaking of that, they ran a plug for the network during, I think, night two. And they showed, they're plugging the network, and they talk about every pay-per-view on the network, and they go with, they start with the one after this Money in the Bank, and they go through everything, and it stops at Elimination Chamber.
Ooh, you think that's the ESPN deal, or
that ESPN money, which really makes the network kind of useless to anybody.
Yeah, it gets all the way to there, and then I'm like, they didn't mention WrestleMania next year.
No, they're now. This is
there is negotiations right now.
This year, from what I heard, this probably is the last WrestleMania you'll have on that network. Next year they're going to be charging it. They're going to be charging for WrestleMania.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard too.
Dirty ass.
Sirs.
For 7 hours.
$100.
No.
Hell no.
We'd have to
not for the card. Not for the card we had.
I'll just stream it somewhere.
Yeah. Remember that? You know how most of us watch AEW pay-per-views?
But at least
I'll
those
go-
are only $40.
Yeah, but I still haven't paid that $40. But I got you. I understand.
I'll go back and start at WrestleMania 1 and just start watching all of them over again.
That's freaking funny.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. What's going on?
Then also like I don't know if you heard about the backlash, like right after like in the backstage area, Brock Lesnar got into.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
No.
the pay-per-view.
Hey, no, tell me about that. So I saw something about it, but then I didn't see it again. What happened?
Well, supposedly from what I heard, I was reading one of the articles. I guess Brock wanted to get this match done with so he can go home,
That sounds like Brock Lesnar.
but he had to wait like he had to wait like everybody else in line. And a lot of people, of course, within WWE have said that if anybody did not feel comfortable of coming to do this event, you're welcome to stay home. But supposedly a lot of people were under pressure. And I guess Brock was the only one that stood up for the locker room and said, you just care about your profit gain. You don't care about the safety of your performers. And, my thing is this. I'm like, how much are you paying Brock Lesnar?
Lots.
Seriously?
Lots.
Yeah. I'm like, come on.
Well, by all indications, he's not a people person, but he's not a jerk.
No.
Like, he's helpful
that,
when you go to him and ask him stuff. I've heard he's very helpful about stuff. He's just not a people person, like, at all. So have you heard that story that Corey Graves said a couple of years ago when they were stuck in Raw or something? They got stuck there, and Lesnar basically kept the bar open. He's like, I got this. He paid for everybody's drinks because there was nowhere else to go or anything else to do. So he picked up the tab for like basically the entire roster when they were snowed in somewhere. So like I said, I sort of understand that he's actually not a jerk, but he just doesn't like people. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, because that bar tab was one of his appearances.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it was a bunch of wrestlers doing stuff. Like I'm sure it's not a cheap bar tab. If you get especially if Ric Flair's on the roster at the time. So, it's just like, yeah, but I could see that. And then he's always been like that. He's always been like, I want to do my thing and go home. That's why he's got his own private plane and why he got out of Saudi Arabia. Yeah. So, I don't know. What else from night 2? There's a lot. I mean, we can talk about. Does anybody have any specific thing they want to talk about?
Yeah, the Otis and Ziggler match was just
a
feel-good story.
I was going to go with that.
Hoping
Who
someone
couldn't go there,
bring it
man?
up.
Okay, so
I loved it.
That was just a feel-good story.
I missed what happened on SmackDown.
It's an inspiration to all fat guys everywhere. I'll tell you that. Anything's possible.
I didn't see what happened on
Thank you.
SmackDown between Ziggler and Sonya Deville. What happened?
On SmackDown, whoever's doing the little glitches or whatever,
Okay.
and that's a whole other story we can get into another time. He played The Truth Must Be Told or whatever, and they went back and showed that Sonya is the one who texted Otis saying she was running late, and that when he replied, she deleted both texts and told Ziggler to show up because it was going to look like Otis stood her up.
Ah, okay. So that's why, because I didn't have any context. Number one, for why Sonya was down there, and why Mandy had shown up later and slapped her. Because I didn't watch SmackDown, and that's just because I was like, no, I want to watch WrestleMania. Like I can get over not seeing SmackDown, but I didn't catch that. I guess apparently major piece of that angle. But yeah, no, everybody. Yeah. Otis took the W there. He took the win there.
In the past, we would have had if WrestleMania had went the way it was supposed to, we would have had like a 15-minute video package explaining exactly everything that happened leading up to that, just on every single match. So it was a little surprising not to have those big, packages, because they pretty much could have kept you up when you haven't watched Raw and SmackDown, but they went a little lean on those lead-up packages. Only certain matches seem to have long ones. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Becky and Shayna had a big, long package. But, in the past, most normal pay-per-views, every match has a big, lead-up package. But these didn't seem to.
Right. It didn't seem as
long
as it normally does.
It just looks like they It just looks like they recycled the King Kong, the George the Animal Steel and Miss Elizabeth angle from WrestleMania 3. Remember that?
Hey, can we talk about Gronk for a second?
No.
Oh God.
Well,
Why?
because
he is your 24/7 champion right now.
he is your 24/7 champion.
Your 24/7 Zubaz champion.
How much did we see him? No, granted, like during some of the video packages, because I always watch stuff a little bit behind, so I can fast forward through some stuff I don't want to see. So, how many times did we actually see Gronk? I'm not even aware that it was actually a whole lot.
4 or 5, which is not unusual for a WrestleMania host, actually.
Okay.
And most of those were in night 1. You only saw him once in night 2, and that's when he won the 24/7 championship.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
So I don't even think he was I don't think he was even actually there for the night 2 stuff.
Oh, I think it was.
He just
one day.
got the title.
So we get Titus O'Neil.
Oh, Titus O'Neil stuff was great. His reaction to the Cena Fiend is probably one of the best things ever, and probably one of the best reaction shots since that guy's reaction to the Undertaker losing to Lesnar.
I don't know what happened.
That's friggin' funny. Yeah, I like that. But I like Titus O'Neil. So.
Hey, so is that a nice segue into the strangest thing ever?
We can if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking, man, Dad, you probably hooked me up with some bad shrooms, dude. Watching that match, man. I gotta watch that match with shrooms. Using some shrooms. Eating some shrooms.
Oh, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
We can make that happen. Don't you worry about that.
That's pretty much the only way to stomach seeing Cena back in his original tights.
Ruthless aggression. That's some good shit.
Swing and a miss.
That's good shit. That's good shit. Love that part.
Hey, I told Dan though that my favorite part was the Bischoff.
Yeah.
It made zero sense, but it was hilarious.
Well, the imitation of Bischoff was fantastic.
Yeah.
Itself, I thought the imitation of Bischoff was really good, and then the way they kind of interspersed the lines that he was saying in with Bray Wyatt, I thought was pretty unique.
How about that little back in time segment in the '80s with that freaking blue cage?
Oh yeah.
Hey,
That's my favorite cage.
Oh, Saturday night's main event opening.
There you go.
Yeah. So the cage was no holds barred, right? Is that what we're supposed to get out of that? That it was no holds barred or something like that?
Yeah, there you go. So that's with the dumbbells. He's going fast as fuck. Like, talk about road rage, man. Shit.
I thought it was a play on the prototype. Was it? It wasn't?
Oh, maybe. I think it was a little bit of
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
From OV Dub?
Yeah, probably.
Obviously.
Although I thought that was good. Again, another one that wasn't really a match. I think Bray won. I mean, I think he wins by default. Yeah, I mean, right? That's what you're supposed to think, right? Because you didn't see anything. You saw the mandible claw, and then okay, it's done, and then it cuts to Titus. I don't know what I just saw.
I was actually hoping they go back to the 70s, man. Having one of them wear a freaking afro. You know?
The white man's afro.
Acting like Bruno Sammartino and shit. Or Billy Graham.
That was definitely super interesting. So, Rick's what do you think? What did you think, Rick? Because the cinematography thing, the cinematic thing that was something completely different. What did you think?
It was completely off the rocker, but it was fun. It played on that. I guess Bray Wyatt and Bruce Pritchard ran with that one. And I give Cena so much credit for being willing to go in there and just play that part and be just as goofy as anything.
Even though he's a terrible actor, right?
Terrible actor.
He's an overactor, but that's what makes it fun.
Okay.
That's what made this so much fun is he was overacting the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So there's talk that this could be his last match. What do you think about that? That this could be it because he ran through in one match. He ran through every incarnation that we've seen of Cena, and supposedly the stuff with the NWO was a shout out to the fact that everybody's always wanted a heel turn from him. And that's what, because he was supposed to be Hogan, obviously, with the belt and playing it, to the thing. Like, that was supposed to be, here's the heel turn that you never got, like, kind of thing. What do you think? You think he's done? Is that a way to go out? Because a lot of what he was saying is stuff like, oh, this guy's overhyped and all that. That's stuff that people say about
Yeah.
I mean, the same could be asked of Undertaker. I mean, do you really want Undertaker and Cena's last matches to be not matches?
I don't know about Taker. I'd almost think like you could go out on this and be like, that's it, because it was it was personal. You saw the more than one incarnation of Undertaker in the same match, so I really could see how if he decided this is it, then he could go out on a high note. It's definitely not the Goldberg match, so you don't go out on that one. But
right.
I can see how if you decide this is it.
I will give you pretty good odds on next year's WrestleMania being in LA, and after everything that's happened this year, that Cena and Undertaker might be on the Hall of Fame card next year.
Possibly. If this had been a normal WrestleMania after a match, and I agree with you, after a match with AJ, that probably would have been it. Given the current situation, I think we'll see him again, but it has to be like that hand-picked opponent again. Maybe you get part 2. Maybe we don't see Taker. We see something out of AJ for the next year, and you see an actual match in the ring then. Maybe that's why we got the hand, to further something along down the line. Like that the story's not over between those two. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think I say Cena's a shoo-in for Hall of Fame in LA though.
Probably.
I was gonna say too. I'm like if this was Cena's last match, that would probably explain why his character's probably still trapped in that Funhouse of Fury. And that he's lost in that dimension. You're never gonna get him back, or some shit like that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, as the character, John Cena.
As a character.
You could see that. There's all kinds of justifications for both. So, I mean, like I said, it could be. And I've heard people talk about that. I heard somebody that it wasn't a news site. I saw somebody had post something, a former student of mine who posted something about, like, I think we might have just seen John Cena's last match because of the way it kind of ran through everything. So I was like, yeah, I never thought about that, but I think you might have something there. Don't know.
Fair.
I guess we'll find out. We probably won't see him for a while. That's probably, true.
No, you won't.
Yeah, we won't see him. And if they're smart,
under normal circumstances, you definitely wouldn't have been seeing him because he would have been getting ready to start press tour for Fast 9, but that's not happening. So he's gonna have some free time, probably quarantining himself, hopefully, but he's gonna have some free time that he wouldn't have had normally.
Yeah, you're right.
You know who else we're not going to see for a while is AJ Styles because he's dead.
Just ask Wendy.
I'm telling you, that was funny.
I don't know because
Wendy.
AJ and John Cena are the same age, and AJ's still at the height of his ability.
And he's got that lovely hair. He has that lovely hair.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, John Cena's still got skills. He could go a few years if he paces himself. And like you said, those hand-pick opponents once in a while. I could see him going for several more years until it's a legitimate retirement match. The way of Flair. Cena's got too much love for the business that he won't slide away like that. It'll be a legitimate retirement match.
AJ still got a couple of more years in him.
And he even says this is his last contract.
Yeah,
he's within him 5 or something like that.
Yeah, he'll do about 45 and he'll retire at 45ish.
Let's not forget with Cena that you have that albatross that is 16, 17.
Yeah.
Do they or don't they? It'll always be the question until they do or don't. So, I mean, you always have that opening that he might come back long enough, like The Rock did when he changed the belt, when he got rid of the spinner belt, and he came back and he was, champion for a while. maybe Cena can come back and do something like that if they decide they want to put numbers 17 on him.
Fantastic.
I think they will, because Vince will want somebody to have that record that he created, not Flair. Eventually, it'll happen.
Hold on. That's a wonderful place to transition, because let's talk about a Flair. Let's talk about Charlotte Flair, because what number is she at?
She's at 10 plus 2 NXT.
Do they count those? Because now it's going to be a bigger deal, and that was the whole point, right? The whole point is to give Charlotte Flair
they're still kind of
title.
separating them.
Yeah, but it was announced that she's going to appear on both Raw and NXT now, defending that title. Mm-hmm. So does that mean those two titles count? You know what I mean?
No, I think there's.
Well, let's ask this: do Ric Flair's 2 WWE titles count? WWF ones?
They do, actually.
I think that's how he's got the number.
Because for a while they didn't.
Remember, before that, before he was known as the 16-time champion, he was the 14-time champion in WCW.
Yeah.
So with the two WWE title, of course, just get the 16th time.
So the reason I asked that is because I've said before on here that, like, I wouldn't be out of mind to say, because Charlotte's got so many in that short amount of time, you make Charlotte the one to do it. Mm-hmm. Because again, that's that, like, you have a WWE created star in Charlotte Flair, but it's still a Flair. And who better to beat your record than your daughter? That's just something I brought that up before, and it's just a thought. I think it's going to happen. It's just going to be like that. You can see how people would think that. Now you're all thinking about it.
It's always going to be that asterisk of the women's title, though.
What's that?
You're always going to have that asterisk because it's a women's title, though.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that too. They had for a little while stopped referring to the NXT women's title as the NXT women's title. They were just calling it the NXT title or championship. That's what they were calling it. Are they still doing that? Is it kind of fallen by the wayside?
No.
Remember they were. Remember
it lasted like 2-3 weeks.
Okay. So I mean, I don't know. That's just, I don't know.
Unless you know what? Unless Charlotte Flair defeats Tessa Blanchard for the Impact title, we'll see.
Hey, hold on. Did you see that? Was it Pro Wrestling Illustrated? Either Pro Wrestling Illustrated or somebody else was talking about the titles that meant anything, and Impact was left off. It was, oh man, I gotta find that, because it was, maybe it was a tweet I saw where Moose had tweeted this. He was pissed. Does anybody even read that magazine anymore or something like that? But it listed like what are the real titles, and it was the Universal title, the WWE Championship, NXT Championship, something else. And what's the other federation? Oh, the AEW Championship and the IWGP. And that nowhere in there was mentioned the Impact title.
I'll be honest. I think the Impact title has more. I think has more lineage than freaking the Universal title. To be honest,
because it was the NWA title at one point.
Well, that's true. Because I'm like, it was the original. It came from the lineage of the old NWA title.
It was the NWA TNA title.
Yeah, the same title that Billy Corgan's still using. The same title that WCW used to legitimize their championship. The same title that ECW used to legitimize the title.
And which wasn't mentioned at all, by the way. Anyway, Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. First of all, I was thrown off by Rhea Ripley's outfit. I was like, whoa, what are these colors? And
that was not her brutality?
No, but the match itself I thought was pretty good. It was hard hitting. Those girls were smacking the crap out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was a good match, and I don't think... Actually, I'm going to let Vic talk about this. I don't think Rhea lost any face by losing to Charlotte because the match was so good. But what did you send us today, bud? You sent us something today about Rhea Ripley.
Oh, yeah, that she's... I guess her visa expired, so she had to go back to Australia.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah, so we're not going to be seeing her for a while until she fixed. It's going to be a long while with the way how the situation is right now with COVID-19, and you know she's pretty much screwed. Not screwed, but we're not going to see her for a while.
So she probably wasn't supposed to lose then.
I have a feeling she wasn't. She wasn't supposed to lose, but the visa, it's gonna. I'm like, nobody's traveling right now, huh? All planes are down right now, huh?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything coming.
Are all the planes down?
I'm sure.
No, not all. There's flights, but
I'm sure there's a way.
Definitely not from.
If they want her out of here,
I don't know. Maybe out. I know somebody that took a plane not that long ago.
But nobody's
like
going to approve a visa right now with what's going on.
Oh no.
No, not right now. So
that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, which also means that Kyrie Sane's not going home anytime soon either.
I have a feeling probably within, I don't know, maybe we'll probably won't give or take 3-6 months. Maybe we may not see her.
Pete Dunne is stuck in England. He flew home before flights were canceled and travel canceled. So you're not going to see him anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that should be pretty interesting. Actually, it's going to be interesting to see now what they do because of all this different stuff. And I heard something, the fact that they were going to film something because Florida's got a stay-at-home order now too. And they were going to film something somewhere else, and it was basically going to be basically they were going to do it illegally. They were going to film somewhere that they weren't supposed to be filming because of all these orders.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing
you're running from the law.
AEW's doing. Pretty much.
AEW has put in all
same
the paperwork.
AEW's been doing.
But they put in all the paperwork that they're supposed to have, and because I think Rick mentioned this before, since they call it a closed set, you can get away with a lot as long as the state still has there's some lax to the law when it comes to that. But they had filmed.
Yeah. Well, it is Florida.
They had filmed a bunch of stuff.
The AEW previous tapings were in Georgia, though.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how TNA is taping the Impact shows.
They've been taped in Vegas for the last several weeks.
Oh wow.
Everybody everybody needs to pick up and go to Wyoming because Wyoming doesn't seem to give a fuck about anything.
There's nobody in Wyoming.
And they could just film in Wyoming because people in Cheyenne just want to die apparently. So just go to Wyoming, film all your stuff, and then you're all set.
I was thinking about Impact. I'm I wonder if they're using a green screen for the crowd.
No, they just because they film so much in one shot, it's weeks worth of television that they film over whatever time period. So they still have a shitload. But I did see something that said that they are going to run out.
They have something like 3 weeks left of tapings left. When they did I want to say Sam's Club or Sam's Town in
Vegas.
Sam's Town in February, and they did something like 6-8 weeks worth of tapings.
Oh wow!
Because some of the stuff, the spoilers I was hearing about, are just starting to air right now.
Yeah, those guys, they're way behind as far as the tapings. They tape a shitload at one time, so the guys don't work for the Impact tapings for long periods of time in between.
Yeah, because I know Kylie Ray just signed a long-term deal with Impact.
And in reality, it was probably months ago.
Yeah, maybe months ago, give or take. And yeah, I think the only promotion right now that's hurting is probably NWA Power.
Yeah, because
they've been putting out these GoFundMe accounts because they have their whole roster on NWA Power. They're making an exclusive T-shirt, a pre-order buy to buy this dope T-shirt. And this T-shirt says "We are NWA Power" with the picture of the entire roster in the ring. That's just like I said, it's just a hard time, man. The business, if you're not in those two major promotions like AEW and WWE, you're pretty much hurting.
But even
hot times, baby, hot times.
AEW's going to run into trouble too. AEW supposedly has stuff filmed already for up to just before Double or Nothing, which is, let's be honest, dude, Double or Nothing is not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. So they're going to have to figure out something else after that. I say, which I said before, I think they should show Dark. Because people just haven't seen those matches. You go matches. That's it. You don't have any storylines. Everything's on pause, but you got enough matches that probably don't really mean a whole lot for anything. To just say okay, this week, we're going to feature Dark, and it's just, entertainment for the sake of entertainment. Still get a little bit of storytelling out of it, but at some point, you really wonder. At some point, is everything just going to come to a screeching halt as it gets harder and harder to do stuff, or are we at the point where, okay, we start turning a corner and someplace like California or Washington, who, they say are slightly beginning to flatten that curve, start opening up to do things like that on a closed set again or something. Don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about the Edge and Randy Orton match?
We can talk about whatever we want, man.
I gotta be completely honest, man. I fell asleep during the match, and it wasn't because I didn't want to watch the match. I don't know what it was, man. I just passed out.
Hey, I have two things I want to mention about that match. I just want to talk about the Red Room.
That spot at the gym. Don't you think it was a knocked up Benoit?
That was dirty. When I saw it was dirty. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Anthony. What were we talking about?
I just wanted to mention that the little red room behind the curtains that they were in. It was all like super red, but it was like there was no reason for it, because then when they went back outside, you could see it was totally black curtains, and there was like no reason for those red lights to be there. And then at the end, I don't know if you guys noticed that before Orton got back up on the truck to fight Edge, that there was this big, huge, unnecessarily big folding ladder there that I thought was going to get involved in the match, and then just meant nothing. Did you guys see it? Did you guys see the ladder?
No, I didn't see that part.
I was cooking at that time.
I did see it. I did see it, and I think Beth Phoenix made a comment on Twitter about it, and he says, "That's it, no more ladders." He threw that to Edge.
Yeah, to the left of the truck that they end up fighting on, there was this enormous folding ladder that was like ridiculously big, and it would just be for a spot. But I thought they were going to use it, and they didn't.
Well, I don't
know if it was meant for something else, or if it's just something that they store in the performance center for just in case.
Well, did you notice in the back
it's so they can clean that fan.
The only fan that was there.
The only fan at WrestleMania.
What the fuck is feeling?
Hey, they made comment about the ladder when they went back to the storage room. They had made this one of the, I don't even remember the announcers' names, man. That's pretty bad. They made a comment about the ladder. There are the ladders for yesterday's ladder match or whatever. Like, that's what he said. I just wonder if it's one of those. They didn't put that one away yet, or who knows? But yeah, he did make.
I don't know, man. But who's ever doing the warehousing there is lacking, man. Shit. Let me get in there. I'll start putting shit away.
You know what I thought? You know what I legitimately thought? I was like, man, every room they went in, somebody's gonna have to sanitize that room. Every single room they went in, and somebody's gonna have to sanitize that room. That's what I was thinking. I was like, damn, I wouldn't want to be the guy that does that. What about when Edge knocked over that camera?
Hey, but on it.
Did you catch that? That was shoot, right? Like that guy.
Hey,
fell.
Honestly, yeah, I think so. Hey, but honestly though, I think the ending to the storytelling on that match wasn't terrible.
No, because there was
some really great face acting from Edge at the end.
It was some.
Yeah, remember when he tried to go?
Go ahead.
I thought, seriously, I thought we were getting an inside tour of the Performance Center. Seriously. Who would have thought you would see that gate on top of the ceiling, man, letting a freaking elbow drop from the ceiling?
Oh, that was funny. I was like, what's he going to do with that?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, he kind of suspended himself on that. Okay. I see what you're doing. Hey, did you
I never seen that on the ceiling, actually.
Did you see that Meltzer only gave that like a 1.5 stars?
What?
Overall for the whole thing?
No, that match.
Damn.
Oh, just the match.
That match got like a 1.5 stars.
Burn.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that's what I saw. I'm gonna see.
You know what the best part of that match was, though, is that once they got backstage, for a few minutes while they, however long they were backstage, you forgot that they were in an empty arena, because once they get backstage, it's just like any other match that goes backstage. You get, for a few minutes, you forget that you're in this situation where it's an empty arena, that, there's no crowd. You're backstage They're fighting. It's just like any other match that goes backstage. And for those few minutes, it takes you out of. For me, it took me out of everything that was going on, because I just thought about the fact, hey, this is like anything that could happen any other time in any other pay-per-view.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I was actually, you know what? I was actually thinking, I was like, okay, they're in the backstage area. Who's in the backstage area? I was thinking like regular people be doing their normal thing, maybe warming up, maybe having some crew there. No, kind of disappointed with it. It's kind of an empty. It was just empty the whole time in the backstage area. Jeez.
It was a legitimate empty arena, bro.
Pretty much. So yeah, shades of Mankind and The Rock in '97 at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
You got that shit kicked out of you. I was gonna mention another match on here. I gotta look at the card again. I don't know who was on it.
The tag team match, man. The SmackDown Women's title. Bayley, Lacey Evans.
Oh, yeah.
The elimination.
Yeah. Okay. Why is
Sasha
Tamina
Banks
there? Why is Tamina there?
One last hurrah, I guess.
There was no
she's
first
42.
hurrah, bro.
Come on, dude.
There was no first hurrah. No, with this last
I
hurrah.
know, that's
it
the
wasn't our first one.
Hey.
Her first hurrah ended when AJ left.
Yeah. I don't know why. I really don't know why she's there now.
That's probably the best
does.
thing
It's
that
like
she's
there's-
ever done was
Yeah.
being AJ's valet.
Yeah. There's just nothing there. Like, that came out of nowhere. Really, it's just like, Tamina, she still works for the company? Like,
I think she was just filling in for somebody else, probably.
Dana Brooke.
I mean, you can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
No, she was probably filling in for Carmella.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably it.
Yeah. They've been quarantining.
Because Dana Brooke they just dropped, but Carmella was the one. She's had a chance at that title recently. So.
Oh, by the way, speaking about Carmella, did you guys see Adam Graves' horrific suit?
Yes.
Corey Graves.
I can't unsee it.
Didn't it look like a carpet or something?
It looks like
it's
a little bit.
Or some
This
drapes.
is one of my grandmother's sofas, man.
No,
Seriously.
it looked like the Fresh Prince that turned it inside out. Like, remember how Fresh Prince used to turn his blazer for his school inside out? That's what it looked like. I was like, what is this, dude? What did Remy say? Remy was like, he's the worst psychobilly.
You should see Byron Saxton, man. Should have seen Byron Saxton's suit. Almost the same thing, but black and white.
Oh yeah, hey, speaking of announcers, I told Dan, I was like, hey, I never thought I'd be so happy to hear JBL announcing again, just to break up the monotony of Michael fucking Cole.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, Michael?
You mean the executive vice president of commentary or something like that?
Oh yeah, he's in charge of all of it.
He just got a promotion.
Promoted.
Yeah. Oh,
Why?
did he? I didn't catch that part.
He's like executive vice president of commentary or broadcast something or other. It's just a glorified title to say he's been there forever and he's the main commentary guy.
Just have him stay away from Mauro and Nalo and we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I miss Morrow, baby.
Fuck JBL.
Mamma Mia.
I do too.
Miss some Mamma Mias.
Yeah.
It's alright. He'll be back.
No one will
miss
ever
better
top
than
Joey Styles, though.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Love Joey.
Different time, different era.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I'm a big Joey fan.
Oh
too, but
my
different time,
God.
different era. Oh man, that was something else.
Catfight! Yeah.
Love it. Love it. The rest of the match though, it was okay. Did you think you were gonna see something between Bayley and Sasha? Did you see it coming?
I was hoping for Sasha to win, actually.
Do you see Sasha turning on Bayley?
I think it's gonna happen.
Eventually. Soon.
No, I'd see Bayley turning on Sasha.
You think Bayley stays the heel and Sasha goes back to the face?
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because now the deed's done. It's like I can keep playing it off as it was an accident. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah,
going
that's
to be the she's going to throw her through a barbershop window.
Michael style.
I don't need you.
But
Look
Sasha
at the
Banks
way
ain't no
she
Marty
jumped
Jannetty,
out
I'll
to
tell
get
you
away
that.
from him. Look at the way she jumped through that window to get away from him. That's freaking classic Bobby Heenan, dude. Look at the way
He was a
Jannetty jumped
coward.
through that
He
window
just
to
jumped
get
through
away
the
from
window
Shawn
to get-
Michaels. Yeah.
You don't need your daddy.
If you haven't seen that in some time, dude, go back and watch that. It's so freaking. You forget how good the brain actually
Dude,
was.
freaking
Well, I watch it every few months.
Gorilla Monsoon. Will you stop it? Really?
Will you stop it? Yeah. Him too. That was classic stuff, dude. That was good stuff.
And you know what? That's one of the reasons I missed the braid, man. The braid in his commentary, man. Seriously. Nobody could replicate what he did.
Hey, for real, when he got to WCW, he didn't give a fuck. He just didn't care. He knew this is a sinking ship, but I'm getting a payday, so he just didn't give a shit. Like, that's what I've heard. People talk about him.
He didn't give a
he
shit,
didn't
dude.
care because he's here for a payday. He knew this was a sinking ship. So that's pretty funny.
But you know what? The funny thing about the brain though is the fact that he left in good terms with every company that he worked for. When he was in AWA, he left in good terms. WWF, good terms. WCW, well, he didn't leave in good terms. Tony Schiavone fired him supposedly.
Don't know, but I mean,
Yeah,
he's still got a lot of good one-liners in there. Let's bring this
definitely.
bad boy home, baby. We only got one more thing to talk about, unless somebody's got anything to say about the men's tag team match. I don't. I'm kind of over the Street Profits.
Nah.
I was gonna tell you. Did you guys see the last match on Raw last night? It was actually this happened 20 minutes right after Drew McIntyre won the title.
Yeah. So let's talk about. Well, I pretty much already said it. We had two moves. So we had two moves. You knew Drew was gonna go over. That just had to happen.
Yeah.
You see, I heard he did something he wasn't supposed to, and I noticed this too. That he did it when after he won, he broke the fourth wall. He looked into the camera and said thank you, and he was pointing to the audience at home. Did you notice that? Like he straight looked into
I noticed that.
he looked into the camera and like he was like yes kind of thing on the ground doing that, and he looked at the camera and he was like thank you, like he pointed right at the camera, and he was obviously was talking to the fans watching at home.
I touched his hand. I froze that moment. I touched his hand on the Drew.
So did my wife.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Broke your dreams, baby.
Yeah,
Broke
she
your
did.
dreams.
She did. But what was the point of the
Broke
Big
your
Show
dreams,
stuff?
baby.
Okay, so our main event on Raw last night was something that happened when they taped after WrestleMania. What the hell was the point? Trying to get over his
I don't know,
Big
dude.
Show or like
You know what it was? The Big Show. It's getting him on TV just to say, hey, look, he's still relevant.
Yeah, well, actually, you know what's funny though, because I was telling
and he was a heel again.
Well, I was telling Dan about this. I don't know if you know, but on Netflix, Big Show has a sitcom show.
Yeah, it's where it's
the Big Show show.
Yeah, the Big Show show. Yeah.
Netflix. I saw the first two episodes last night. I think they were pretty funny. They're all right. I mean, like something that Disney would do.
He looks like a Nick show or a Disney Channel show.
Hey, Vic, are they like a half an hour long or what? How long is it?
Yeah, it was like 30 minutes episode.
Okay.
It's all right, dude.
Wow, 30 minute. Like,
It's
what else
alright.
are we doing? I still gotta finish DuckTales, but I'll get there. This thing called work. No, I was telling before you got on the line, Rick, I was saying, man, I've worked more this week than I have in a long time. Just like there's actual work.
I
to
have
do.
the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's actual work to do.
See, my brain is fried every day.
I'm supposed to be on quarantine, baby. Doing work. It's all
not
good.
bad, man. It's not bad. No.
Anyway. Yeah.
Dude, I'm still teaching.
I mean, yeah. Any all thoughts about the whole thing then? So we covered pretty much everything I think I wanted to talk about. I've been waiting. Some of the stuff I've been waiting on. I've been holding on to. Yeah, talk to these fools.
The only I heard a rumor supposedly that McMahon supposedly is gonna retire supposedly. I don't know if you guys heard about that rumor.
If the XFL had
No.
taken off like it was supposed to, maybe. I don't know about now, because the thing fell apart, unfortunately. So maybe when that gets going again, maybe. But now you got nothing else to do. Have to run the XFL anymore. So, I mean, we'll see. Hey, I got a question. 2 nights. That's the way we go from now on? Or was it just because what we got going on here?
It was just because they could.
Yeah.
It was out of need, but you know what? How many shows does New Japan do that are multiple nights?
They did it this year.
2 nights.
And it's
This year's Wrestle Kingdom was 2 nights.
Yeah.
And a success.
And it's something to think about, man, because you're burning. You can see it at last year's WrestleMania how burned out they were at the main event.
Yeah, they didn't get the reactions in the main event.
You know,
like
you hype up that triple threat with the women's title. You know, winner takes all. You hyped it up, and there was not as much hype, not as much excitement, especially probably that last 3 or 4 matches.
Yeah.
But how do you handle the ticket sales for that? I mean, you say, oh, okay, you're going to buy for night 1 and night 2, or you're going to buy for night 1 or night 2, so you're not guaranteed. You're guaranteed one main event per night if you go, but you're not guaranteed who's it going to be. I mean, how do you deal with all that kind of stuff? You know, people are already bitch enough as it is about every little thing. You know, it's just something else for somebody to bitch about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Seriously, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if next year's WrestleMania they will do a 2-night event, give or take.
Then also, what do you do with NXT? Do you push NXT then to Friday? Then what do you do with the Hall of Fame? Do you have the Hall of Fame during the afternoon on Saturday? What do you do? You know, it's all kinds of things that, because they have already so much shit that they're trying to do. Because then does NXT TakeOver become part of night 1?
Yeah, there's. I mean, I understand there's a lot that needs to be factored into it, but is it worth it for the crowd reaction? Is it worth it to have these people invested in it that have been sitting there for 10 hours at some points?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that part of it. Yeah.
That's logistical. Maybe you move Hall of Fame to Royal Rumble, or maybe you do NXT the week before and have 2 big events, there's got to be a way to do it.
Something's gonna
the way I would do it. The way I would do it, of course, that whole week you'll be in LA, so you do your Raw, your SmackDown tapings, and your NXT tapings, right? And then probably have the Hall of Fame maybe on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
maybe have it on a
something
Thursday
has to
night.
move
Have
to
it like
Thursday.
on a
100%. Something has to move to it Thursday.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have people that are there the entire weekend anyway. So you just include Thursday.
I'm like, seriously, if they can go through, seriously, they have the Oscars on what? They have the Oscars on weekday, like on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday.
I don't know. I don't watch that.
Or the Grammys
on Sunday.
They're on Sunday night. Sunday.
Okay. Well, there's nothing going on in the middle of the week.
You do NXT becomes a major Wednesday night event, like they're doing with this one next week. They do, the TakeOver caliber. Maybe they book a 3-hour NXT for one night. On Wednesday, you do Thursday Hall of Fame, Friday SmackDown, Saturday and Sunday WrestleMania.
I mean, in reality, they don't even really need to have a takeover. They could just mix it in with WrestleMania.
Hey, shut your mouth.
If you're already going to be doing 2.
I was gonna say if you have Hall of Fame on Thursday, have it at the Kodak Theater in Hollywood, or have it at the theater where they have the Grammys, which will be
do the Dolby.
Big. Yeah, the Adobe Theater.
It's smaller than you realize. Actually, the Dolby Theater. I've been on tours of it, and it's really high, but it's not very far back.
Yeah, because the last WrestleMania, the last Hall of Fame that was in LA was at the Universal Amphitheater. I went to that one, and that's not there anymore. So
no, that's Harry Potter land.
But I was gonna say
yes.
It's Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I'm like next year, it's in our own backyard. It's the Mecca. Pretty much, it's for that whole 1 week. It's the wrestling capital of the world because WrestleMania is there.
Hey, we're gonna hit that shit up, right?
Like, hey,
that's some of that stuff. We have
enough time to think about.
Can you imagine the bar wrestling that weekend?
Oh man!
Can you imagine how much wrestling there's gonna be in there, dude? WrestleCon too. Seriously?
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna be
want to
crazy.
do that. I'll do that. I'm down to do the WrestleCon, and if not NXT, I don't know about.
Yeah, I would be too.
I would do NXT and definitely WrestleCon.
I don't know about WrestleMania. Depending, I would do the Hall of Fame.
That's what I was gonna say. I could do the Hall of Fame.
What about
Watch Anthony do the Hall of Fame, and it ends up being Brock Lesnar, who's done.
Bite your tongue, man. Bite your tongue.
Anthony? Don't you go for Brock Lesnar, man?
I just
Bret Hart.
Man, I just want to get lucky and get lucky and have it be Undertaker. I mean, I would take Cena. That's fine. I mean, I lucked out when I went in 05 and got Hogan and Piper and all those guys. So I mean, that was probably one of the best Hall of Fames probably possible.
Man, you know what could have been, man, to see that Hall of Fame ceremony this year, to see the NWO, to see JBL going to the Hall of Fame, just
Did
this
you
year,
notice when they brought?
I wonder if they're even going to do it. I wonder if they're going to do a ceremony for him.
Did you notice when they brought out JBL? Michael Cole introduced him as Hall of Fame elect. He said Hall of Fame elect JBL. That's what he said. Because I was wondering how they're going to handle that, but that's what he said. Hall of Fame elect, not Hall of Famer.
That's
Hall
what
of
I'm
Fame
wondering.
elect. Yeah, so maybe that may be something for
So
him.
are they still planning on doing something at some point or announcing something then? Or
Hey, I'm going to tell you.
I mean, because they didn't even.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what I tell all the kids about graduation. Hey, it's to be determined. Like, we'll figure out something. That's the official line. We'll figure out something we don't know. It's true. They haven't.
You
So
know,
we'll go back to normal.
Yeah, because they're not sure when normal is and what's going to happen with open venues and things like that. If it's going to happen, I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. Let's say Survivor Series weekend.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to see what happens.
Or they could wait till next year and have
Or have the biggest Hall of Fame cast ever.
Hey, they're gonna go
in 2021.
They're gonna go from having a 7-hour Wrestlemania to a 7-hour Hall of Fame because they're gonna have the class of 2020 and the class of 2021. Honestly, like
they're gonna throw in the music at the like they do at the Oscars. Okay, yeah. Your speech is up.
You're hooked. All right, gentlemen, another episode done. I'm out.
Okay, guys.
All right, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Kayfabe Culture is part of the Extraordinary Culture podcast universe. You can email us at exocast@yahoo.com. We're also on social media. You can find us on Instagram at exoculture. We're on Facebook at exocult. We're on Twitter at exocultcast. You can listen to Extraordinary Culture or Kayfabe Culture on Podomatic, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify. You can YouTube Extraordinary Culture podcast, or you can ask your smart home device to play the Extraordinary Culture podcast.